Hi guys, welcome! In the upcoming Tears of the Tyrant episode update, various skill adjustments and balance tweaks will be introduced for less popular job classes and builds. And in the second part of this series, we'll break down the significant changes impacting the Hunter, Performer, Gunslinger, Rogue, and Ninja classes. So whether you're a seasoned player seeking to adapt to the evolving meta, or a new player trying to navigate the intricate gameplay of ROM, this video is just for you. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First are the buffs on the Hunter class. First, the range damage bonus effect of Vulture's Eye is increased from 60% to 100%. This change will double the damage of Stellar Hunter's auto attacks and double strafe when the target is at the maximum attack distance. Moreover, Unlimited Stars will have an additional effect wherein Vulture's Eye range damage bonus effect will always remain at maximum. This means that as long as Unlimited Stars buff is active, Stellar Hunters will receive a consistent 100% damage bonus to auto attacks and double strafe regardless of the distance from the target. Second, the condition for improved concentrations effect, which grants plus 30% auto attack damage, has been adjusted to require only 1 second of not moving instead of the previous 2 seconds, making it easier to activate this effect. Third, the cooldown reduction from Star's Guardian CD is adjusted from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, resulting to a cooldown of 15 seconds. Since the Star's Guardian buff lasts for 8 seconds, Stellar Hunters can be protected against abnormal statuses 53% of the time. Fourth, the Force Elf rune has a new third line effect, wherein the attribute effects gained while hiding will still remain even after the hiding state is cancelled. Thus, the extra skill damage reduction and movement speed gained when hiding is triggered will remain for 5 seconds. The generation probability for this line is 100%, and all existing runes will directly activate this line. And fifth, Dark Matter Trap Black Hole has an additional effect which causes an enemy to have a 60% chance to fall into black hole for 2 seconds when they clear Dark Matter Trap from the ground. This serves as a deterrent for enemies who might reconsider using their ground clearing skills too hastily due to the potential risk of not surviving after falling into black hole for 2 seconds. Are these changes sufficient to improve the use of Stellar Hunters outside of farming? Next are the buffs on the Bard and Dancer class. First, the damage ratio of Raging Storm inherited from Arrow Shower is increased from 120% to 150% at max level. I believe this is a third direct buff to the DPS build of Performers, which was one of the top meta builds prior to the introduction of the 4th job classes. Will this be enough to revive their DPS build? Second, the Ensemble skill Day and Night will have additional effects. Sun will now restore up to 10% of max HP every second, while Moon will now restore up to 10% of max SP every second. So this will help in the sustain of Performers and their teammates in battle. Third, the Choir skills Ancient Song, which increases attack and magic attack, Leylad's Resolve, which increases max HP, and Shining Sun and Moon, which grants damage reflection, will all have shorter cooldown from 120 seconds to 60 seconds. And fourth, the Fate Divine rune of Bard and Tarot and Dreams rune of Dancer will have a new third line effect, wherein using Tarot Card of Fate has a chance to add the Wheel of Fortune buff to self, resetting the cooldown of all job skills once every 30 seconds. The Doomsday skill of Performers has a pretty long cooldown of 80 seconds, hence this rune will potentially help improve the uptime of Doomsday. The duration probability of this line is 100%, and all existing runes will directly activate this line. Hopefully with these changes, we'll see more DPS and support build Performers in PvE and PvP. If you're looking for a reliable and efficient online game top-up center, I highly encourage you guys to check out SmileOne. With years of experience in the industry and partnerships with various game developers, they offer top-ups for a wide range of games at competitive prices, including Premium and BCC for Ragnarok Mobile. SmileOne Top-Up is available in many countries across all servers, and you may pay via their trusted payment platform. In the Philippines, I can pay securely using my GCash via Alipay and receive the BCC instantly. Please do check out SmileOne's pricing and payment methods using my exclusive link in the description box below. Next, we have several buffs to the Gunslinger class. First, when the chain action passive is triggered, pistol skills will be able to deal twice the damage, which is a 30% increase in damage compared to the previous effect. With a Tier 5 Golden Law Enforcer, the chance to proc chain action increases from 30% to 50%. Second, the Rage of Tyrant buff will now provide additional 30% skill damage bonus, which is a buff for both the pistol and rifle builds. And third, the Gunfire Pursuit card and Gunfire Pursuit Star card will have an additional effect which extends the casting range of Bloodbrand by 5 meters. This means that it will be easier to mark an enemy with Bloodbrand, as it will now have a 13-meter range when coupled with this headwear card. Do you think these buffs are good enough for Tyrants to become meta again in PvP? Next, we have another buff that benefits the Rogue class. There's an adjustment to the condition required to trigger the Pick 'em Off passive skill, wherein it will still be effective even when there are no enemies within 3 meters. This means that a 45% bonus damage for backstab and melee auto attacks will apply even if you're far from the target, as long as there's no more than one enemy that is within 3 meters from your position. I think this is an indirect buff to Death Stealth since it is based on backstab damage but with a longer casting distance. Last are the adjustments to the Ninja class. First, using the ninja skills Hollow, Mira Hyakume, and Ninjutsu all-around attack will no longer consume the 4 Souls aura buff. In addition, using Breaking Dawn will no longer provide hiding status, so you can now place it together with Misty Shroud and prepare for Elite. These 2 adjustments will eliminate the need for repetitive rebuffing and simplify the buff rotation of ninjas. Second, after channeling Tranquil Restoration, the probability of proccing the next Quick Escape will be increased to 100% within 10 seconds. Hence, ninjas now have a sure way to prevent dying from fatal blows. Third, a new skill has been added in the T3 Shadow Wolf Hazy skill tree called Ninjutsu Substitute. At max level 5, for each Shadow Clone present, the damage received by the ninja is reduced by 20%. Thus, with 2 Shadow Clones present, ninjas can gain 40% damage reduction, improving their survivability. Furthermore, Shadow Clones will now have faster auto attacks, which when coupled with the new Arcane Rune can greatly enhance the damage output of clones. Fourth, another new skill has been added in the T3 Shadow Wolf Hazy skill tree called Ninjutsu Star Shift. At max level 5, it extends the casting range of your next long-range target lock skill used within 15 seconds by 15 meters. This buff will synergize with several attack and debuff skills such as Wind Shuriken Swift Shadow, Summoning Wind Soul Flash, Ninjutsu All-Around Attack, Hollow, and Phantasm Delude. And fifth, the formula for the true damage caused by the Soul Severance passive skill is changed from Own Luck multiplied by 20 to Own Luck plus Own Dex multiplied by 50 for each buff on the target. This will be a good counter against Jormungandr, who can steal multiple buffs from enemies. So that's it for the class balance adjustments for Hunter, Performer, Gunslinger, Rogue, and Ninja classes coming this November in ROM. Which of these classes will shine in the current PvE and PvP meta? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Stay tuned for the third and final part of this series, wherein we'll focus on the skill adjustments and balance tweaks for the Knight, Crusader, Hellbrand, Assassin, Taekwon, and Monk class. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I'd love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.